Let's be real. You've been running from the things that matter most to you, not because they're actually hard, but because they look hard. But here's the truth. You're not gonna get yourself through by just using brute discipline. The real trick is to shrink that thing down so small that it's impossible to say no. In this video, I'm gonna show you how. Now, we are so visually we get most of our information from our vision, and that can really deter us. I remember I was working at like 3 4 years ago. I'm working at this job where all I do is fold clothes, and I hate it. I remember on this one particular day, I walked past this pile of clothes on the floor that the last thing I wanted to do was fold. So I kept walking. I'm not gonna lie. If I'm working a job I don't care for, am I gonna be the best worker? No, I'm not. So I kept it pushing. I kept it packing. I kept it Pete. But then my manager obviously hit me up on the radio talking about, "Hey, yo, Faith, there's some clothes that need to be folded on the floor. Can you get to it?" So at that point, I didn't have a choice. I begrudgingly went back over to that pile, and I started picking it up, thinking, "Oh my God, this is gonna take forever." Only realized there were only 3 shirts, and it just looked like a mess because they were all extra, extra large. So it didn't take long for me to do the mess. It was 3 shirts, and I was so quick to try to run from it because it seemed difficult. And I know you've been in that same predicament. Like, have you ever procrastinated on like a school or college project? And I'm guilty of this. You procrastinate up to the very last minute, and then when you finally get started, you realize it wasn't even that bad. And if you would have started a lot earlier, it'd have been easier on you. Like, it was not hard at all. It just looked hard, and that pushed you off from even wanting to get started. So I'm just giving all these examples so you can be very clear on the fact that instinctively we are going to run from what looks difficult to us. But the thing is, most things aren't once we get started. So you are left with a choice. Are you going to keep running from what matters to you because you think it's hard when in reality it's not? Or are you going to learn how to shrink it down in size so that you can actually get started and take on that stuff to realize it's not hard at all and then just go even deeper in it? Now, if that's something you want to do, if you really want to start doing what matters most to you, you want to stop pushing it off, you want to stop procrastinating, you want to stop feeling lazy, the first thing I would say is think about what is it you've been procrastinating on. What is it? What are you pushing off? What is it? Now, whenever you figure that out, you want to ask yourself, what are the 1 to 3, no more than 3, behaviors you can do on that thing that make you the most action? And of course, I'm going to run you through an example. So for me, I will do freestyling because I haven't talked about freestyling much in my videos. I like to freestyle rap, and my goal is to be better in freestyle rapping. Obviously, that goal is very vague. It can be specific. I'm working on making it more specific, but for the sake of this video, I just want to give you an example. So I have been procrastinating on practicing how to freestyle rap, or just practicing how to do it better. So what are the 1 to 3 things I can do to improve my freestyle game? I can improve my word association, I can improve my rhyming, and I can improve making connections, like metaphors and similes, okay? Now, I just gave you 3 behaviors I can do. I didn't give you anything more, just 3 behaviors. Just to give an example. So hopefully you've written out your behaviors as well. Please pause this video right now if you've not done it yet and start writing down what you've been wanting to do, what you've been procrastinating on, and what are the 1 to 3 behaviors you can get started on today. I'm telling you, if you wait to the end of this video to do this stuff, you're not going to do it. And I'm not giving you anything too hard. This really will change the game for you. So please follow along. So hopefully you've already written down your behaviors. The last thing I want you to do is make your plan for doing these behaviors. Because it's easy to say, I want to do this, I want to do that. But then when it comes down to doing it, you don't do it. So make your plan using this formula. I will do behavior at time or event in environment. Now, the behavior is literally what we just wrote down. So all you gotta do is plug in what you wrote down for your behavior in the behavior. For time, it's as simple as putting a time, like 6 p.m., 7 a.m., 11, whatever. Event is something you're already doing. So you already take a shower, you already eat breakfast, you already call up your friends. So these are things you already do, hence events. And an environment is just the space you're in, like kitchen, living room, office, whatever. So I'm going to run through one of these. I'm going to run through a formula for the behavior I gave you as for rapping. So for example, I can work on my rhyming game, and I'll say I will rhyme 5 different words 20 different times, right? So we're going to do this formula. I will rhyme 5 different words 20 different times after I finish shooting, after I shoot hoops in my office. So that's it. Like that was like a live example of me making a plan for when I'm gonna practice my rhyme game. I'm gonna practice my rhyme game after I shoot hoops in my office. So whenever I finish shooting hoops, I know that's my cue to come here, sit down, and practice freestyle rapping. So it's as simple as that. And you might be saying just 1 to 3 behaviors. There's got to be more to this. There's more than just that. What else can I do, Faith? Don't do more. Because according to the 80-20 rule, which states 80% of the things you get comes from 20% of the things you do. In other words, the big comes from the small. If you try to do more stuff, you're going to get less of a return. And let me just go a little bit more into this. So I just want to flesh this out. So for example, let me give you some examples of how the 80-20 rule works. So 80% of the world's crimes are done by 20% of the criminals. You hang out with 20% of your friends 80% of the time. 80% of the wealth is held by 20% of the population. Like, obviously, it won't always be a clear-cut 80-20, but you can kind of get what I'm saying. Now, 80% of your success comes from 20% of the actions you put into it. So if you do more than 1 to 3, you're essentially switching over to the 80% of actions that will bring you 20% of results. Hence, you'll work hard for little to no return. Instead, you can switch over to doing 20% of the actions that will give you 80% of the results, meaning you work less, but you get more. It is crazy how that works, but that's how it works. Now, every night after you shower, I'm going to challenge you to make your plan on those 1 to 3 behaviors you wrote out. So make your plan, write it through that formula, because making plans like this are crucial for getting out of default mode and living more intentionally. Now, we all know what default mode is. It's when you wake up an hour before work and you scroll on your phone until you have 30 minutes to rush out and you rush to work and you do your 8, 9, 10, 12-hour shift and you come home and you plop down on the couch and you either watch TV or scroll on your phone for the rest of your day and nothing productive comes out of it and you don't get any closer to the life of your dreams. That is the default mode that so many of us are stuck in, and it breaks my heart seeing how many people are in this, how many people just don't have a passion they're working on, how many people just don't have anything to do outside of entertainment. Making plans, like we just walked through, is a big step in breaking out of default mode and living more intentional. And if you want to go even deeper down the rabbit hole of how to live with more intention and never go back to default mode again, definitely check out my course, Live by Design. It's going to be first thing in my description, and it'll definitely help you on your journey. Now, wherever you wrote your plan, because I'm hoping you wrote your plan, because this will help you do the behaviors. Wherever you wrote it, you want to make sure that you can easily see it. So if you wrote it on your notes app or just somewhere on your phone, take a screenshot, make that your wallpaper. If you wrote down a piece of paper, just have that somewhere you'll be able to see at least twice a day. Because what you see constantly is what you'll do. Like, it just serves as a reminder. And most of the times, we just need to be reminded of what we want to do. And so that is a good way of constantly reinforcing to yourself that this is something you want to do by just visually seeing it. It is that simple. And you want to make sure that whatever it is you want to do, you have it in the right environment. So if you want to read, make sure the book is in the environment you're going to be in. If you want to work out, make sure that your workout gear, whatever, is in the environment you're going to be in. Just make sure it's out. If you have to go out and find it and get it, you're not going to do it because we're lazy and we tend to choose the path of least resistance. So you want to make sure you are aware of that. Now, The journey to 1,000 miles, and maybe you've heard this quote, it's by Lao Tzu. I don't know how to say his last name. Whatever. But he said, the journey to 1,000 miles begins with one step. Now, you don't want to focus on the 1,000 miles like most of us do, because that's going to prompt us to run away from doing the trek, from taking all the steps we need to walk 1,000 miles. What you want to focus on is the one tiny thing you cannot say no to. And that is just taking one step. You can't say no to taking one step. You can easily say no to the 1,000 miles. But if you focus less on the 1,000 miles and more on the one step, that will get us started towards our destination. And that's something I had to do not like a couple months ago. I wanted to learn how to do a pull-up. And I was focusing on the 1,000 things to do a pull-up because I just felt like it was going to be so difficult to do it because it was something I've never done before. And I'm just like, I got to figure out the right workout plan. I got to figure out the right stretches. I got to get the right gear. Like, I literally spent an entire month doing researching and planning and just watching videos on how to do pull-ups without actually getting into the pull-up. And I felt so productive doing that stuff. Because that's what gets us. We do these things that's not us taking action. That's not us actually moving the needle. But it tricks us into feeling like we're being productive. That's a big trap you want to watch out for. But once I realized what I was doing, I was doing things to feel fake productive that helped me run from what really scared me. Committing to learning how to do a pull-up and getting into the gym and doing some workouts. Once I realized what I was doing, I said, okay, what's the 1 to 3 things I can do right now? Like, it's not going to be perfect. What is it? And I said, I'm just going to do push-ups, dead hangs, and try to do pull-up. And I went to gym, and that's what I did. The next day, that's what I did. The third day, as I'm trying to do a pull-up, I'm noticing, like, there's this spot where I just can't pull up past. So then I was able to go to the research board and say, well, how can I get past this? Oh, this exercise works for that. Next day, boom, a whole new exercise I can do. And eventually, I was able to get to the pull-up. Now, I didn't get to the pull-up by just doing so much research and focusing on the 1,000. No. I got the pull-up by focusing on the 1 to 3 most important things and then just getting started and figuring out along the way. And that's what it's going to be like for you. You want to figure out the 1 and 3 most important things you can do, make a plan for getting it done, and then just doing it and figuring out the rest along the way. You want to go as far as you can go, and once you get there, you'll see how to go further, and this is how you do that. So let me know in the comments, what behaviors are you going to start doing? What are the 1 to 3, no more than 3 behaviors that you will do starting today? And on the days where you don't feel like doing those behaviors, you still want to do them, and to make it even easier for you to do those things, just do it for less than 2 minutes. Like, it's that simple. If you can just do that behavior for less than 2 minutes and then call it a day, call it quits, that's completely good. Pat yourself on the back because all you want to do is build the momentum of continuing to show up. That's it. And if you only do 2 minutes that day, who would say the next day you won't do more? You know, so just keep the momentum going above all else. Now, once you stop running and you actually get started on what matters to you because you're able to break down what looks difficult to its smallest components and get focused on that, you will achieve whatever it is you want. I'm telling you, it is simple as that. The biggest way to achieve your goals is to walk towards them and get closer every step. It doesn't mean you got to get 10 steps closer every day. It's 1 step closer every day because the journey to 1,000 miles starts in 1 step. And this is how you get your 1 step in every day. But if you don't, and you don't break anything down to its smallest components, and you just keep running away from things that look difficult to you, you will never achieve what you want to achieve. Your life as it is right now will get worse. I'm telling you. And I don't want that for you. You deserve a life of greatness and you can get it, but there's different ways to go about that. And this is one of those ways that you might want to overlook, but if you don't overlook this and you stick to this plan and you have trust that this will work for you, good things will come through your way. I'm telling you. And even if you don't complete all the 3 behaviors you wrote, even if you don't complete the first behavior you wrote all the way down to completion, the fact that you just show up to do something speaks volumes. And if you continue just showing up to do something, you will get there. I promise you, you will get there. If you like this video and you want more, hit like, hit subscribe, do what you do, and I'll see you for the next video.